because during the conventional approach is when you are doing the synthesis and when you form the nanomaterial, once you just do based on what you think, synthesize it, and if it fails, goes back again, synthesize it, and so on. But once you go into the combinational approach, it's basically we are actually introducing a theoretical work in between the thinking and the experimental part. Okay, and that's actually very, very important. Okay, so what does it mean? So we actually design many compounds in order for us to assess which one is the best, before it is going into the synthesis part. And this actually give us a time for us to do very cost saving, and it also help us do a faster design process. So the current projects that I'm actually doing is we are actually developing a platinum-free counter electrodes, the synthesis also of electrochromic materials, synthesis for nanomaterials, basically for detection of insoluble and soluble chromium-6, especially in air particulates. And also we are also developing some electrochemical sensor for heavy metals for use in aqueous environment or even for biological samples. So we are also developing those things. So the equipment in the lab are basically quite varied. So we have actually some tools for us to characterize our solar cells, and we have also tools for us to actually do the synthesis, of our nanomaterial, so, and also some characterization, so we can also do that one. But in general, at the university level is we have what we call the core facilities, so the core facilities are actually well equipped, so we have actually a powder XRD, and we are in the process of purchasing the single crystal XRD. So we have an XPS, TEM, SEM, or even the AFM. So these are the things that we could, but these are only a few of the big ones, but we have also other equipments that are actually geared for the characterization of materials, We have also some which are geared for analytical chemistry. We have an NMR, we have an XRF, we even have an ICP AAS absorption coming from the UV all the way to near infrared region. Then we have also the Fourier transfer, infrared, then fluorescence, microwave synthesizer. This one is a little bit different from the one that I have because this is specific for synthesis. This one is specific for digestion. Remember, when you are doing analytical samples is before you could analyze the metals into the instruments, it's like ICP, AAS, you need first to make it soluble. And one way to make it soluble is you do microwave digestion, which is much, much faster than the conventional ones. Then you have also some solar cell characterizations of these things. Now, these are the things that you could actually use if you want to enroll in our program. So the thing here is, what are the admission requirements? And Asel would actually expand on this one. So I'll just give you a brief background. So the first thing is you need to have an undergraduate and master's degree in a relevant discipline. So it doesn't need to have a chemistry background for you. But again, having a chemistry background would actually be advantageous because it would be hard for you to actually go right away to different fields in chemistry if you don't know anything about chemistry, because you are doing PhD in chemistry. The minimum GPA is basically 2.5, an Ielts score of 6.5 with a sub score no less than 6. Then you have a GRE, which is basically recommended. For Kazakhstani applicants is you need to have a medical certificate. Then you have also to actually ask for a criminal record, and you need to also submit all the application package, so application forms, letter of recommendation, so on and so forth. So we could actually submit it to the website. We're in the admissions.nu.edu.kz. So with regards to our program is we have this one here. So we have actually divided our program into the department core courses and the department elective courses. So for our department core courses is you can actually choose two of this. So you have hot topics. The hot topics are basically a required core course. So from 710 to 750s, you need to actually choose one of these depending on your field of specialization. So because once you get in, depending on the when you are going in, you have to choose a supervisor. So your supervisor would actually help you. Okay, it will actually help you to decide on which core courses you are going to take. Okay. Then we have also the elective courses, wherein it can help you expand your knowledge on certain specializations like environmental chemistry. The design of functional materials is basically a computational approach. Then you have the surfactant colloid, chemical biology, materials chemistry, and organometallic chemistry. So basically, the PhD program is a 4-year program, which has a total credits of 240 ECTS. So the basic structure of our program is that in your first year, you will be taking a lot of courses. Okay, so this is basically your suggested curriculum for the first semester or for the fall semester, wherein you will also be taking some research methods and ethics. Then the graduate core course, as I've said, you need to choose among those that are listed 2 core courses with the help of your supervisor. Then this is another core course, the hot topics, and you need also to enroll with your thesis research. Then on the spring semester, then you will now be going to take another core course, then elective core courses. Okay, so the technical elective here would be also be allowed if you want to take specializations not actually offered at the chemistry department, but it is offered within the NU system. Like if you want to take some biology related courses, so you can take it in the biology department. If you want to have physical physics related courses, you can take in physics, mathematics, or you could even take from the mining or from the School of Engineering and Digital Sciences. So that would actually encompasses your technical elective. So that would actually gives you a much more wide number of choices with regards to your elective courses. And that is basically the basic structure. So if you try to observe, only during the first year is your academics. So after the first year, it's all about thesis. So there's no more academic, okay, courses that you need to take after the first year. Okay, and during the first year is you are also allowed to actually be hired as a graduate research assistant or graduate teaching assistant for that matter. Okay, for that case. Anyway, Asel would actually also expand on that one there. Okay, so you could actually access all of the information that I actually mentioned using this website here. So at chemistry.phd/chemistry, but take note, okay? So the deadline for Kazakhstanis or local candidates are basically almost near. It's basically April 18. So please hurry, okay? Submit your applications, and please don't submit your applications on the deadline, okay? So you have to submit it as early as possible to give you ample time. So in case there are some mistakes, you could actually correct those things before the deadline, okay? So that is actually the PhD in program in chemistry. And if you have more inquiries, you could contact me personally in my email, or you could also contact our chair of the department through his email also. So Asel would actually give you more points, more information with regards to the university, how's the campus life, and so on. Okay, Asel?
Professor, thank you very much for your presentation. I will elaborate on the program and what the university offers. So, and also go to the minimum requirements. Also, then we will be able to go to the questions. So, as you said, that the program is 4 years and it is full-time. So the university expects our candidates, applicants, students to be fully involved to the study. So they will be committed to the study at NU during the 4 years. As the first year is coursework, you will have the exams by the end of each semester. And after the first year, there will be the comprehensive exam and oral presentation at the second year. And starting that point, our students will be exposed to the research and work mainly with their supervisors. About the supervisors, it is usually one NU supervisor, and there also will be co-supervised from the other school or maybe from the other university. Also during the 4-year study, our PhD students, they are expected to successfully complete 2 GTA assignments. GTA, that stands for Graduate Teaching Assistant assignments. It is, you will be working as teaching assistant to your professor, and also you will be given the list of courses available for each semester. And you will be bonded with our professor to acquire the necessary skills to teach your subjects in the future at the university level. And the workload is not big because you will be combining your study and the work, and it is 10 hours per week. As the program is mainly for the 4 years, but in some cases the program can be expanded to the 5th year, but this it's also should be subject for the additional approval from your supervisors and also from the provost. In some cases, some researchers might need more time rather than 4 years, and these cases also are included and also will be funded. So also for the funds availability, the university have a lot of links with different universities, as the professor also indicated. Have our partners to work with and abroad and within the country. And also talking about the opportunities, but there have the funding, all our PhD students, they are studying based either on state grant or the Nazarbayev University educational grant. Mainly on state grant is majority of the students. And then as the admission process is merit-based, and sometimes we lack in the state grants. The university can support our students, and we do on our own finances. On our grant is Nazarbayev University grant. This grant is mainly aimed for the local candidates and covers the tuition fee as well as monthly stipend. As you can see from the slide, the amount of my monthly stipend will be increased from September. And there is a remark: if you have already earned a degree on Bolashak scholarship, or you have a degree in PhD based on the state grant, unfortunately, the university cannot give the second grant for the same degree. But if you did your Bolashak scholarship, use it for the master's degree, you are welcome for this scholarship. For international applicants, we have scholarship called a Brighton scholarship. This is covers everything the same, as it works the same as the local state grant, the Nazarbayev University grant, and covers the tuition fee, medical insurance, and also the amount of stipend is the same as for the local candidates or local students. Another scholarship, it's called the Brighton Science Scholarship. It is for the students with socially vulnerable students. So that unfortunately it covers only the tuition fee without monthly stipend. Criteria is also on the slide. It also for the students who are not awarded with a new or state grant. It's additionally funded by the university. Next, as I told before, the graduate assignments, GTA, works as both way. It's stipend, PhD support stipend, and also the program requirement. And also, if you complete your 2 GTA requirements during the fall and spring semester, During the summer semester, you also will be covered, supported by this PhD support stipend, but the work will be different because there will be another opportunity, graduate summer research assistant. The workload is less than GT for GTAs, and it works only for summer terms only. So the students will have a chance to work with their professors, assisting with the research assistant. And there is a difference with the array positions, because array position is a contract-based employment. It's also strictly depends with your professors' funding or research grants availability at the particular your chosen topic. And also a salary is quite good now. Talking about the dormitory, the facilities we have for the PhD students, we also have the single rooms, and also for the students with a family, the university offers a family housing on campus. It is studio or one-bedroom apartment. It's everything will be needed for their life at the university, and the university have the facilities like kindergarten for children, local market, and Olympic size pool with the athletics and within the athletic center. And the payments for this facility is very low, to say, and the costs for the different types of housing is also on the slide. You can see it. And also, I would say that students who are located at the dormitory, beautiful, they have everything, and you have a sky wall between the blocks, and even if the weather is not good enough, and we live in the south, north of the country, students don't wear their jackets, and they can go move between the blocks easily without any uncomfortable weather wearing clothes. Talking about the minimum admission requirements, I would expand about. So first of all, you will go with the admission online application form, where you will should submit your application form, identifying all the data as a passport or identity card. You will need to attach the scanned copy of the documents. For the passport, identity card, degree diplomas, we require both diplomas for the bachelor and master's degree, or their equivalent. If it's degree diploma earned somewhere, not in the Kazakhstan and not in English, these documents should be translated, degree diplomas, with the transcripts and notarized. The point for this, because the admission committee is English speaking, and they don't understand other languages, and the working language is English. So also the same applies for the letters of recommendation and statement of purpose, also as for the resume. For the Ielts score, by the time you submit your documents, your Ielts score should be valid within the 2 years. And also, if you have a GRE test results, and you can also attach it and upload to your application profile. But you should note that GRE is not mandatory, it's optional. So that means we don't require it to be enrolled to the program. But if you have the GRE results, you will be welcome to submit this document, and this document can enhance your chances to get the scholarship if it's competitive results. With the talking about the Ielts results also, I should note that for the applicants who also meet all the requirements, but like in English level, the university offers 0 a year of graduate program. That means this is only for the students who have their English Ielts results or TOEFL equivalent score 5.5. So if you have it and you meet all other criteria and you can be recommended for this program, that means you will be given the opportunity to learn an additional year and plus your 4 years. And also during your foundation, this 1 year, you will be taught the English language and also the necessary skills for the to complete your degree during the doctoral program. After that, you complete this program, you will be automatically transferred to your main program. Also, we should note that this during the your studying on 0-year graduate program, if you decide to change your program, this unfortunately won't be possible because you will be linked with the program you are applied to, main program you applied to. But if you still wish to change your program, you will be advised to submit another application form and go to another selection process for next year. This is the main part to think about that. Also, as told before, we have the links where to go to find your supervisor, to find your research area. This is 2 sites where you can go and see. And also another useful information is that some students, for example, they have their transcripts different scale. For example, they have a 5 scale within, and it is difficult to recalculate to GPA score, which is 4 points scale. You can use the site called scholaro.com and check yourself your GPA level. You can put there your courses and also the credits and the grades, how much hours it will take in for you. And the site also gives you the rough information about what is your GPA. But don't worry if you don't don't sure about this, because the admission department anyway will check your transcript and also will be screened for the, and you can just leave this point within your application process. For the final year master students, as we said, the deadline for submitting documents is April 18th, but most of the final year master students won't have the degrees on their hands at the time of the deadline. So the final year master students, they can provide a current transcript and also can provide the confirmation letter from your university on completion of your master's degree, and that can state that you are almost meet the all graduation requirement, and then you're only waiting for formal issuance of your degree. But please note that if this case applies for you, final master students must provide the final diploma and transcript before the orientation week, which will be held in mid of August this year. So if you think your diploma will be released after this deadline, please think about how you will be, your documents will be on time, will be released. So another reminder of the dates, the April 18th, this is the deadline for the submitting your application form. And also don't forget actually to do the 2 button submit, because if you don't click the button submit, your application form packages won't be considered by the admission committee. And also the important date is for the offers, when we expect the admission committee will release our results on applicants. So in late April, international applicants will start receiving results on their application processes. And for the local applicants, in early June, you should expect the reflect within your personal account. You'll see this information, but this dates are not the final, and some applicants might receive the invitations or offers on enrollment up till the orientation week, because some students can be placed in the waiting list, and then if there will be available places or we will have additional funding source, some candidates might receive the offer of enrollment. Okay, and this is it. My presentation. I would also remind the social channels where we post all the information, and where you can go to check if anything else, and also you can write to us to our email addresses as well as the social sites. So I will stop my sharing, and I think we can go to the chat box. I will read the questions, and then also you are welcome to raise your hands and to ask your questions. So I will try to mix between the questions in the chat and also to the raised hands. Okay. So there we have students who are welcoming. Professor, welcome. And also, we have a question from Farah Asraf. I'm sorry if I spell it differently. So the question is nano zero valent iron, and the question mark. This is question, I guess, for the Dr. Onyx Balanai.
Okay. Let me remind you that this info session is actually geared to the local candidates. For our international candidates who are still planning to enroll, unfortunately, the deadline is already passed. It ended in February 28th, so we actually did a lot of info sessions before last year, actually, to actually invite you to enroll with our PhD program. So in case that you are still interested, then you are still welcome to actually apply, but you will be considered next year, okay? Selection process. Okay, so for the question about nano zero valent iron, the oxidation state is 0.
Okay, thank you.
Oxidation state is 0.
Okay.
That's basically nano zero valent iron. So,
Can you hear me?
and if you go into the catalysis, the 0 valents are the ones that actually easy for you to have a catalyst, because it can easily shift to oxidation states. Okay, and iron is basically quite abundant metal, so
Can you
it's
hear me?
quite yes.
Farah, he's raised the hand that
Yes.
he wants
Yes,
to
Farhan.
elaborate on.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much, Professor, for your session and for your answer. And I just want to say that I have applied for PhD program this year, and I just said I have asked the question that can we submit the English proficiency certificate instead of Ielts certificate?
Asel can actually answer that one. Asel?
Yes, I would like to respond on this. If you don't have the IELTS or TOEFL result, fortunately, we do not accept other results, as for example, Duolingo maybe, or other test results, which is not administrated by the test center. But we can offer the waiver for the students who we have 3 categories of the students who will offer the waiver for submitting the IELTS results, English language test results. They are for the students who studied or lived in the country, studied in the country where the language of the communication daily life is English. And the second category is that students who completed their degree, or maybe bachelor or master's degree in English. So the language of instruction for these studies were English. So it's also proven in the transcript. So you can be waived. And also third category of the students, they are the Nazarbayev University graduates, which is in Nazarbayev University, actually the language of instruction is English. So if you fall in one of these three categories, you can be waived from this test results. But if you do so, for example, for the first or second, you should provide from your university, request from your university the confirmation of this that you studied. It can be within your transcript, or your university can directly send to admission department the document, for example, the letter that confirming that the language of the study was English.
Thank you so much. I have one more question. What is the selection criteria? I mean, is any recommendation letter required from a professor to get admission in university for foreigner student?
For the selection, okay,
Yeah.
Asel, you can selection criteria.
As a part for minimum requirement, you have to submit 2 reference letters. It is mostly first reference letter would be good if you submit it from your professor, from your previous studies at your master's degree, or you have already doing the research, and your supervisor can give your recommendation letter. The second recommendation letter could be from anyone, particularly maybe it can be your boss or a colleague who you work with. So we don't ask for specifically ask for the person who should do this. We don't restrict such, but we recommend for the first referee should be from your the person who you work with, who supervises your work. Of course, we don't accept it. For example, if you ask your parents, for example, give your recommendation letter, who maybe also can be the scientist, but better ask your supervisor to do so. Doctor, you would ask.
Farhan, you actually asked for a selection criteria, right? Aside from the recommendation letter. Okay, for the selection criteria, if you try to look into that, is we are firstly looking at your academic performance during your bachelor's or your master's. Okay, so we rank them based on your academic performance. Okay. Especially with regards, if you have taken the chemistry courses, then that would be also one of the factors that we could actually look at. Okay, so, and also after the chemistry, after the academic performance, so all the candidates will be ranked. Okay, then after that, if you have research experience, okay, if you have published a paper, then that would also be an advantage for you, because it actually proves that it actually gives you an analytical advantage. Okay, if you have a published paper. Okay.
Yes, because yeah, what about industrial experience? Because I am working in industry since 3 years, and I have a lot of experience with analytical instruments like ICP, OES, GCs, or HP.
Yes, that industrial experience is actually okay, but we are not actually training technicians. We are actually training researchers. Okay, we need to have an analytical thinking. Okay, industrial the advantage for you to have an industrial experience is only that you could actually do some instruments. Okay, and that is actually give you an advantage for the other students who are still learning to use the instruments. But we wanted to actually go beyond the use of the instruments, but more into the analytical thinking, because majority of our instruments here are being run by technicians. So we just give the samples, okay? And the analysis, the results of the analysis would be just given to you. And that's normally the trend here. So majority of the instruments, except for those who are in the lab, I require them to do everything on their own. But for those bigger instruments, so they are actually been run by technicians, except for other cases wherein most of my researchers in the lab are operating the instruments in the core facilities on their own. So we have access on those things because we were already trained. Okay, so all of my researchers are already trained to use the instruments and for us to actually get the data that we want, because some of the technicians don't actually have that idea on what actually to specifically focus on which area. For example, if you're doing SEM or if you're doing some absorption instruments or FTIR, what area do we want it to focus on? Okay, and that's actually the key. So, but if you have the research experience, that would be actually one of the factors. So it's actually an advantage.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
So the next question is any scholarship for foreigners? Yes, we do offer the full scholarship for the international candidates. That's called Abay Kunanbayev scholarship. Abay Kunanbayev is a great poet and thinker of the Kazakh nation. So it's called after his name. So it provides all the same positive or everything the same as the full scholarship at the university. And for the PhD studies, we don't accept anyone who would like to pay fee-based, because we have a lot of scholarships to cover to offer our applicants. So the next question.
But it's also welcome if you want to actually enroll in our PhD program for a fee. So you will be paying on your own. It's also welcome for us. Okay, so you could actually pay by yourself. But again, I'm not sure about the tuition fee now. I think Asel knows the tuition fee as of the moment for that case. But again,
tuition fee is a lot of money. I mean, that's competitive to all the universities at the
yes,
Europe
in the
or
Western universities.
Yeah.
Yes. So almost the same rate as the Western universities. So we have that one. So actually, Jamal actually asked a question about electrochromic. Okay. So about electrochromic, it's basically the same as photochromic. So if you are actually looking, so changes in the color, so from transparent to dark. Okay. So if you have a photochromic, so if you have a UV ray, so for example, if you have just like my eyeglasses, actually a photochromic lens, wherein if you go out under the sun, it automatically turns dark, okay, for you to be protected by the sun rays. But for the electrochromic, it's actually powered by electricity. But what we are actually developing here is why electrochromic, not photochromic, because photochromic you cannot control. Okay, so once there is UV ray, then automatically it will turn dark. What if you don't want to turn it dark? Okay, just like in most of the photochromic devices, it's just merely a very small amount of UV ray, it will just turn dark. Okay, but it's already dark. Okay, it's cloudy. You don't need to have a dark lens for a cloudy sky. Okay, so what we are actually developing is an electrochromic device, but that one there is powered by a solar cell. So we are incorporating a solar energy, okay, which is basically a low light, okay. It's a low indoor photovoltaics wherein it can actually power even from the fluorescent bulb, okay. So that's actually the idea there, okay, and that's actually make it more sustainable. Yes, Jamal. Yes, Jamal. You can unmute yourself. You have to unmute yourself first.
I think I am unmuted now.
Yes,
okay, thank you, Professor. No, I don't have any more questions. Previously, okay. I have attended some session that physics professor is promoting his department. I have asked a lot of questions. And also I raised a lot of questions about chemistry, why chemistry professors do not explain themselves. Nazarbayev University is very huge university. They kept silent still. We didn't get their website, email address, so on and so forth. I asked like that. Today,
because we are actually in competition. Okay, it's actually a healthy competition within the different departments. Okay.
yeah, I know that, but I entertain myself actually more in computational chemistry. I hope I can join your university and I meet you physically. I hope that.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, hopefully. I hope that.
Did you submit already the package?
Yeah, actually, I am international student. I am not a local student. I am
No.
East
Did you
Africa.
submit already the
Yeah, I
package
have.
before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deadline? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think our deadline is April 18.
No. The
No,
deadline
sorry,
is February
March,
28th.
February.
No, February 28th.
Yeah. I already did it. I remember. I already
Okay.
did it. But I am highly interested to get today you and listening everything from your mouth. And I am highly inspired. Actually, you have very latest instruments that I am wishing for a long period of time. Thank you.
So thank you, Jamal, for that comment. So we are actually quite competitive. So not all not all Western universities have the same amount of latest technology that we have. Okay, so even if you go to the United States or you go to the United Kingdom, okay, they don't have those all instruments. They have other instruments, but in one setting, in one university, it's not actually common. Okay, so we are probably on the top 20. Only 20% of the whole universities around the world have most of the instruments that are actually being found at the university setting. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Let me ask you one question. Actually, I am raising a question about electrochromic here.
Yeah.
This is a new term for me. Actually, I published one paper regarding solar cells in general. While I revised different reviews, I published one review. After I submit my application to your university, I recently published one paper normally, but electrochromic is very new term for me. Even I haven't seen before in any paper. I can say
it's actually photochromic, but using an electrical field.
I am actually this term is very new for me. That is why I ask you. Electrochromic is very new. I know previously photocatalysis, disolar synthesized, the perovskite solar cell, carbon nanotube, quantum dot, particularly quantum dot. The other question I raised here is your curriculum do not contain quantum chemistry. I think
yes.
Why is that?
Why is it? Because you could actually take that from the physics department, quantum mechanics. Okay, so we are actually focusing on the applied, but technically we have the design of functional materials is basically a semi-quantum chemistry because we are actually applying there for computational design. It's actually a computational design of functional materials. Okay, so you have to learn quantum chemistry before you could even do the computational part. Okay. So it's actually incorporated, so it's more like an applied type of course. Okay, so we are more into the applied because we actually expect you to have learned most of those in your bachelor's and in your master's. Okay, so those are courses that you should take in the bachelor's program and in your master's program.
Yeah, I actually had it normally, no problem at all. Yeah.
Yes.
Starting
so we just
from
need to apply
chemistry.
those theories. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need to apply those. Thank you, Jamal.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Let me ask you one more question. For previous, somebody asked you about industrial experience.
Yes.
But you replied, we are not training technicians. Rather, we are training researchers, you said.
Yes.
What about academician? I am from academic institution. That is why I'm asking.
Yeah, for the academic, since if you are in the academic, then you are actually exposed to research. Okay, because you are in the academics, and academics are basically a research type of setting. Okay, except if you're just looking at the core course, just merely courses, but that's not how university work nowadays. So majority of the universities, especially within the Western type of scheme, is majority of them are actually involving research as part of their teaching. Okay, and that's actually also one way for you to motivate students. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Amar. Amar is actually raising hand. Amar?
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes. Good evening, Amar.
Okay, can you see me?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I can see you now.
I'd like to thank the organizers of the program for this very educative webinar. So I have like two questions that I want to ask. One is about your selection process. Like I want to know after the application, so what is the next step? Is it the interview or you just start sending offers to the successful candidates? That's the question number one. Then number two, I want to know whether somebody that applying for PhD, whether you require publications or not. If somebody doesn't have publication, what do you look at to web that publications for him? Because I know some school doesn't even require publications at master's level for PhD candidate. So I want to know about the Nazareth University, how the selection process looks like. So, and when do someone expect the call from you, like the outcome of the application? This is already April. So these are the questions that I want.
So the first question is with regards to the selection process, as I have mentioned, is that the first thing is it's all about paperwork. Okay, if your paperworks are all in order, so that's actually the job of our very invigorating ASELS group. Okay, so ASEL is actually doing all those very difficult jobs to check all your paperworks and so on. Then after everything actually works fine, they will actually forward it to the admissions committee. So after the admissions committee, we will now be ranking, okay, based on the academic performance and documents that you have submitted. So we will not be interviewing everybody, okay? So we will be ranking based on those documents that you will be submitting. Okay, so it's all about the academic performance, and also the research experience also helps, and also the recommendation letters also helps. Okay, so we will be reading everything. Then after that is we will be going into the interview process. Okay, then we will be further shortlisting the candidates. Okay, after the interview, and we will be submitting that one to a sales group. Okay, so for them to actually now do the offers. Okay, for that case. So but technically it's all about your paperwork, then your academic performance, then from there we'll do the interviews, then we will now be deciding which one will be accepted. Okay, and that's the process. Okay, and you just need to wait for the registrars. I think ASEL registrar's office, the one responsible for giving the offers, right? It's not from your office, right?
The applicants will be asked to check their personal accounts. There you will receive the information from whether you offered an enrollment to the university. If so, there will be a list of the documents you need to submit before the orientation week, and before the deadline indicated. There will be enrollment confirmation form, other documents. There will be some additional requirements for your documents to submit, and that's it. And we will see you on the orientation week, which you must to attend. If students don't show on this week, we cannot enroll the students to the program.
And you have also to take note, especially for the foreign applicants, is that this is actually a highly competitive process. We are only accepting very few foreign applicants. So majority of the applicants are coming from the local. Okay, so we have only very few positions for the foreign applicants. Okay, so unless if you want to pay on your own, then we are welcome. But for the scholarships, it's only very few places. Okay, for that case.
And also we go back to the questions in the chat box. So
Yes.
there we have a question from Farhan Asraf, scholarship criteria for the foreigners. And we don't have special criteria for the foreigners because all the process is the same as for the locals, and all the process merit-based. And the questions of the funding, it goes only after that the admission committee will accept you, you will be granted as a place for the university, and then the funding source will be decided later on after the admission committee makes decision on your application packages. So and never could.
There's somebody who is actually raising a hand. Musbahu, if I pronounce it correctly. Musbahu.
Yes, Professor. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. My name is Musbahu Adam Ahmad, and I am an applicant for PhD in chemistry. I'm currently in my final year in master program, where I focus on developing carbon dots for cancer treatments. And in my recent searches, Professor, sir, in your publications, I've seen that you have interest in similar research. So I am curious, sir, how often that your lab work on these carbon dots, especially for cancer treatments. I want to know more. I've seen that I came across one publication relating to that from your lab, sir. I'm curious to know more.
Yeah, because majority of my research focus now is about energy and environmental applications. Okay, so most of my research is going into that directions. If you are really interested to go there, we have another professor who is actually going into specifically on the carbon dots that are used for cancer agents. Dr. Fan is actually doing that one, so you could actually contact her. But for now, we are not actually going into some of those. We are actually doing some computational study with Alzheimer's disease though. Okay, so we are actually doing some computational study, and there's actually another professor actually from China, yes, from China, who wanted to actually do our computational our designs to go through a clinical study for Alzheimer's patients. So we are actually looking into that one. Okay, so.
All right, thank you very much, Professor. You said Dr. Fan is right?
Yes, Dr. Fan, Haiyan Fan.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
So the next question is that Muhammad Yassin asked, I completed my degree MSc chemistry 16 years ago, education. Can I get admission in PhD directly? So we don't have age discrimination for the applicants. If it's been a long time ago, just probably you should prove that you are keen in research, and if you work in a research area, it would be beneficial for you. So the next question. Can we submit English proficiency certificate instead of us? So we covered this question, so don't. Why don't you include quantum chemistry in your PhD curriculum? This is a question for Dr. Manis.
It's already been answered. I already answered why we don't have. But before that one, there's actually, after enrolling on scholarship for the MSc as well. So before that one, so there's actually from Andy Agoe. So he's actually asking from MSc to PhD. I think if I am, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, that you are actually doing MSc program at NU as of the moment?
Chemistry, yes.
Andy? Andy is not anymore here. Okay, so I think for the sake of discussion there, if you are doing an MSc program at NU, you will still be going to apply the same process going into the PhD program, but you have an advantage because you are already an insider. So people knew you, what you can do. Okay, so and you don't need to prove anything. So we just need to actually look into your performance based on your MSc degree. Okay.
So we have another important question here that in the NU application form, it is 500 word limit, but today you indicate 1000, which is correct. I mean, the statement of the purpose of the words. Yes, the word limit 500 word was for the last year. And for this year, we increase it up to 1000. And we ask our applicants to indicate the tentative research choice of the research. We don't ask for research proposal, but you should have the idea what kind of research you are planning to do, and to explain it, to elaborate on it. Maybe at the time you check at the website, it was 500 words, but we changed the limit to 1000 before the deadline. And if it's 500 word limit, it's also okay, because it's indicate the maximum number of the wording, not the minimum.
Yes, and you could not write anything significant for 500 words. You're just, even for an abstract, it's actually 600 word limit, and that's merely an abstract of a paper. Okay, so is 1000 is actually much more ideal in a sense. I think Amar is raising his hand, Asel.
Yes,
Amar?
yes, I would suggest to ask the question. Amar, you can ask your question. Unmute yourself and ask the question. Amar?
Amar, are you here? Yes. You can now ask your question.
Hello.
Amar, yes, we can hear you.
The question you did not answer one of the questions that I asked about when are we expecting the next application stage after the application process is complete? Now, what's the next stage? Is it in this April or May? When is it going? April?
April. So you will be receiving, a few weeks from now, in case that you will be shortlisted, because as I have said, not all will be going through the interview process. So if you have not received anything from us, it means that your application is not actually satisfactory with our standards. So you need to actually apply, try to reorganize your application form. So we will only be asking interview based on our shortlisted applicants, then from within this month. So then from there, we will now be deciding on which candidate would be the one who would be getting the scholarship.
So, and also for PhD candidates, do you normally do you check both their BSc degree and masters, or you prioritize on one? Which one do you give more emphasis on?
Now it depends. So it's preferable that you have a master's degree. But depends on, for example, if you have a UK standard, they have actually basically a 5-year degree program, their bachelor's degree. Because they have actually the first 4 years is the bachelor's, then they have an extended 1 year for them to get a master's degree. So it really depends, on the academic performance of you. So it really depends on the academic performance. So we have to look at your transcript. And another thing, I think I missed also one point with regards to the publications. So I think I missed that one also. With regards to the publications, you are required to submit a publication, at least 2 publications in a Scopus sanctioned journal. So it's a peer reviewed. So it should have an impact factor. So at least we have even in our faculty, you need to have it at least in the Q1, Q2 journals.
Okay. I mean, for the application? Oh, for the complete
No, for you to graduate.
Yeah.
You cannot graduate. Okay.
Because I'm asking for the application stage.
For the application stage, if you have, as I've said, if you have a publication wherein you are not at the middle of the authors, or you have to explain yourself while at the middle, if you are the first author there or the second author, depending on your statement of purpose, where you actually mention on what's your job within that article, then we can actually consider. Okay, so if you have an article, not a review article, research article, okay, so that would be also an advantage. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think you have answered all my questions.
Okay.
So to have an important questions here. Also, Dr. Balan, I'm working as a teacher in UAE. Is there any possibility for doing PhD in distance?
No. So as Asel have mentioned, it's a full-time PhD program. Okay. So you are paid under scholarship, so you need to be here to do the work. Okay. So we don't do online classes.
Researcher.
Okay. So we don't do online classes, except during the COVID, then we do online, but now is we don't. So we don't do PhD in a distance. Okay. So we don't do online PhD. Okay. So because chemistry is not an online course. Okay. PhD in chemistry is not an online. In social sciences, you can do that, but in chemistry field, no. Chemistry is an experimental science, so you have to do the work. Okay.
So, the next question, I think we covered. Jamal, if you would like to ask a question, you can.
Yes, Jamal.
Button, or if you can unmute yourself.
You have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello?
Yes. No, you cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. You have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay, thank you. On Ammar question, I have one additional question. Ammar is
last question, so to give chance also for the others. Okay, Jamal?
Okay. Last question. Okay, last question. Okay. On Ammar question, I have also additional question on publication normally. Publication. Okay. You said normally review article is not acceptable. You said.
No, it's acceptable. Review articles are pretty much acceptable, but we are mostly looking, because review article is just merely you are summarizing everything that are actually being published all throughout. But what we are actually looking, if you can do research. So having a review article is not actually a proof that you can do research. Okay, say in the lab. So yes.
Here in my country, it is impossible to conduct research. There is no latest.
Yes. That's also, again, it's not a requirement as we have. It's a requirement, but if you have, then. But even though I'm from the Philippines, okay, so my country is actually a third world country, but we do research there. Okay, mostly environmental chemistry. So it's really a matter of ingenuity. Okay, so you could actually do a lot of things. Okay.
Actually, there is
very minimal. Okay?
There is a lot of problem all over the globe, particularly countries those are on developing country like Africa. It is not affordable for basic science, particularly like physics, chemistry, and biology, because those are very experimental sciences. Due to that, you have to observe everything experimentally, unless it is impossible. So while I learn. While I learn.
That's why collaboration works.
So that is why I write 2 review papers. One already I submitted on non-enzymatic electrochemical biosensor. Actually, it is application to medical chemistry, I think. The other one is I published earlier earlier, after I have submit my application to your university, it is on harvesting clean energy on progressive nanotechnology on solar cell. So unless you consider such review articles, publishing research is.
Yes, again, we don't actually discredit everything. We consider everything because that will also, aside from, okay, so let me be clear at that. Having an article, regardless of if it's a review or research, with a research article, it will actually give us a picture on how you do research. But having also a review article or any articles for that matter will also give us an idea on how you write. And that's very important, okay? So it's all about the writing skills also, which is actually an important component in the PhD program. You must know how to write. And that will also give us a snapshot on what would be your writing style. Okay. So
okay, thank you,
also a factor for us.
Okay, consider. Okay, I've got your question. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
So I think we should finish the questions in the chat box, and we expanded the timing than we expected. So we'll go through them. So the Badar Khan completed the MPhil in chemistry with 3.53 CGPA, also taken Ielts exam and scored 6.5 band overall. Since the deadline is over for international, I want to be a part of your university, so can I apply now? No, the deadline is closed. And another question is there any chance for the international students to enroll this year? Unfortunately, no, but I would suggest you to contact our professors if you have the research areas where you can work and you have the background, and maybe you can ask for the array position with the within the research group of the university, and so you will be able to come and start on your research, and then next year we will be once you admitted, you can start your study. So Farah Ashaf also asking what is the percentage of the foreigners for PhD program? So Professor, would you answer?
Okay, so around 10%. More or less.
Yeah, so, maybe 20.
Yeah, 10% of our PhD program are made up foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Only 10%. So you can imagine the extent of competition there. Mm-hmm. So we will only be accepting those exceptional PhD students. Mm-hmm.
So another question from Amar Sani, what is the maximum monthly stipend someone can get? So once again, about the scholarship stipend, you will receive the basis scholarship for state grant or Baikonur grant, which is from September, will be increased, and it will be 195,000 tenge. And also, to addition to that, you will be able to work as GTA or array or also GS array. For GTA, the monthly stipend is 230,000 tenge, but probably we expect that in September it might also increase as well, but definitely we will see how it goes. And for the array contracts, there is the terms all that depend on the research, and the payment can be different. So, but it is more than enough then to live in Kazakhstan. So if you stay at the dormitory, and you can also you won't be limited in anything that basically the students do. Because the other students for bachelor's degree, for example, they receive much less than the doctoral students. So I think I've finished it with all the questions. Dear participants, Dr. Romanik Spalnaya, thank you very much for the interesting presentation. For participants, if you have any other questions, you can.
Yes, Andy Agoe actually. Yes, I got now his question. with regards to the MSc program going into. So he's not actually an NU graduate, so he's actually applying for an MSc program. So if he wants to actually have to go right away to the PhD program. So we are actually doing some sort of a plan, but it's not actually being suggested. So we are actually having a plan where in the first year master's students can go to PhD program, exceptional, okay? But it's actually still in the pipeline. So we are still discussing it with the administration if it is possible or not, but definitely within this year now. Okay, so once you go through the master's program for 2 years, then that's the time that you can go to the PhD program. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I hope I didn't miss any other questions. We have a lot of questions that saying thank you very much. We got the question now. Oh, thank you, Professor. Okay. So once again, thank you very much for participating in this event. I hope you got all the information you need to think about or the university or the program here we're offering. I also have last question, I guess. Can the stipend sustain someone with family? So the answer is we have a lot of students with family who staying and studying and working as GTA.
Okay. I can give you a good example. I have actually a PhD students under my supervision, co-supervision actually. It's co-supervised by one of the professors also coming from the School of Engineering. And he just got married. Then he actually had a kid right now. It's actually quite difficult if you're doing PhD, but again, he's still here. So that gives you an idea on the amount of stipend that we are actually giving to them. So it's enough. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
okay, I think we're all good. Asal?
Yes. We have thank you, Professor Manix and Nasil, for the informative session. Looking forward to the joining you in the future. Yes, we do welcome you. If you haven't submitted your documents, application packages, I hope you got the information how to do that. And also, please stay posted on our future events to talk about the other programs. Thank you very much, Manix Balanai, for the great presentation, and Aizada for the organizing this event. Also, if you have other further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're here for you to answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Asil.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Asaida.
you, dear participants. So let's finish our webinar. Thank you. Bye.